Hey there, Massachusetts. My name's Nadeem Mazen. I'm a city councilor in Cambridge, Massachusetts, and a newer member to the Democratic State Committee. And
I'm Elaine Almquist, and I'm a third-term state committee member and also the co-chair of the communications subcommittee. And I think you just joined the subcommittee as well, right?
Yeah, I just joined as the co-chair or tri-chair of the Affirmative Action Outreach Committee. And I'm basically here today, and I think we're here today, to learn from your breadth of knowledge, because it's my first convention ever, I'm embarrassed to admit.
That's really exciting.
Yeah.
I've been to, I think, about 10 conventions now. So,
oh my goodness.
And I've also been a teller, so I help run the convention some years as well.
Well, thank you for your service. That is an incredible longevity with the party for someone who's a young activist. So I guess what I want to understand is, we're meeting on Saturday, June 3rd in Worcester. Right. It's the Democratic State Committee Convention. What is the convention? What's it all about?
That's a great question. So the reason why we're convening this year is to pass a new platform for the Democratic Party in Massachusetts. And what that is really the statement of values that we all share together as Democrats. We do this process every 4 years. So this is the year that we do it.
Okay, great. And it all kicks off in just a couple days, actually, in May, with a memo that we'll receive as delegates.
Right. So on Friday, May 19th, the call to convention will go out, and that will be mailed to all the delegates and alternates, and it will also be available online. And you'll see a trend. A lot of this information is available at massdems.com/convention.
Org,
yes, org. massdems.org/convention.
Okay, great. They won't make that mistake.
No.
Great. And tell me a little bit, we'll receive the memo, which is kind of like in newspaper format.
Right.
With the the platform draft.
It has a draft of the platform that the platform committee has put together, and it also has a schedule of events and some advertising and some maybe listings for some parties and stuff.
Cool.
It's pretty comprehensive. I do really strongly encourage everybody, because we're voting on the platform the day of, to read the proposed platform before June 3rd.
Great.
It's kind of a long document, but we've had a really great comprehensive process to make sure that everybody who wanted to contribute to the document could. We had hearings, formal and informal, throughout the state.
Wow.
So a lot of people participated, and I think we've come up with a really good document.
Great. So it's not just delegates on the day of, it's also a community process that's been coming together.
A lot of people participated who will not be there on June 3rd. So.
Okay, great. When it does come to June 3rd, tell us a little bit about how we start the day, bringing our credentials and getting acquainted with the Worcester Convention Center.
So first of all, before you even start driving to Worcester, you want to make sure that you go online and pay your delegate fee.
Okay.
Because if you don't pay your delegate fee, you won't get given your credentials, and then you can't get in the hall.
At massdems.org/convention.
Yes, you can pay your delegate fee online, or you could mail in a check if you want. But after we get your payment, then the credentials go out. It's just like a little piece of paper that you wear on a lanyard the day of. And in case your credentials don't show up on time for whatever reason, there will be a table in the hall where you can go and get a copy of your credentials. I do encourage everybody to bring a photo ID as well, just in case there's some kind of issue. Bring a photo ID. You won't need it to get in the hall, but in case there's an issue, it's good to have.
Okay.
So doors are at 8 a.m.
Okay.
And basically the delegates are seated by state senate district. So you'll be seated with people who live in your community and your neighboring towns and cities. And when you get there, you want to make sure you check in with your teller, because that's the person who records that you're officially there. If you don't check in with your teller by 11 a.m., they start to swap in alternates. So it's really important that you do that by 11 a.m. And the actual programming starts at 10.
Okay, so you're arriving around maybe 8, 9. You're checking in. You're checking in with your teller right away.
Right.
Things are kicking off at 10, and if you haven't kicked off by 11, then, or if you as a delegate haven't signed in by 11, then your space is going to be given away to an alternate.
Yes.
Okay.
Yep. And the tellers are really easy to find. They're going to wear neon T-shirts. So.
Okay.
Yeah.
So they're standing out. Okay. And then for those who aren't delegates, for those who have a new interest in democratic organizing in the state, they're going to want to come to observe and to just understand how better to participate in the party. Yeah. And those will be guest passes that are available
Yeah, anybody can come and watch the proceedings if they're not a delegate or an alternate, and you can go buy a guest pass online or at the door for $50.
Okay. Makes total sense. Any tips about the auditorium itself? We're going to be bringing, I guess, 6,000 people into the room, which is a little unusual. How do we make our way through the proceedings, and what can we expect with regard to like cell phone use or Wi-Fi?
The cell phone use and the Wi-Fi can get a little sketchy with so many people in a big concrete building.
Right.
So you may be able to use it all day. Who knows? That would be great. But
shouldn't plan on it.
No, we shouldn't rely only on that. So if you bring family or friends that you need to meet up with, you might want to pick a designated meeting spot in case you get separated. The entire convention hall is ADA compliant, and we want to make sure that if anybody needs accommodations, that they can get them. So please, if you do need some kind of accommodations, then just let the MassDems know, and we will be glad to help you. You can call the Massachusetts Democratic Party headquarters or send us an email online, and we'll make those accommodations for everybody. And that includes, medical devices, wheelchairs, hearing, and if you have a baby carriage or something like that.
Okay, great. And on day of course, people can see someone in a neon shirt or see a Democratic Party official.
Absolutely.
Okay, great. And then at the convention itself, obviously there will be water and food. Are there rules around food?
So unfortunately, you can't bring in outside food.
Okay.
But there are vendors throughout the hall, and we will have a map available. So if you're a vegetarian, vegan, or gluten-free,
that's great.
Yeah, you can find things that you can eat, and you'll know exactly where to get them, which is awesome. And then we'll also have water stations throughout the hall.
Okay, great, wonderful. And then with all of that out of the way, the brass tacks. Tell us a little bit more about how the platform is actually passed and what to expect in our day of work together.
So the convention itself, the actual proceedings, is run by Robert's Rules of Order, which is a very standard way to run meetings. And it's also, we have governing documents for the Massachusetts Democratic Party, so some of those apply as well. The proceedings will be run by our party chair, Gus Bickford. He'll be up on the stage, kind of running the show. At the beginning of the day, we'll have a Pledge of Allegiance, some speeches, that kind of thing, before we get to voting. And then the actual vote will happen, hopefully, because we've had such a collaborative process, by voice vote, which just means that, the chair will say, all those in favor say aye, and we say aye, and everybody says it. And,
and then it just goes off without a hitch.
It just goes off without a hitch, and it passes, and it takes 3 seconds, and it's great. If, however, it's a little bit closer vote than that, and we're not sure how it goes, it could go to a hand vote, or stand up or sit down for yes or no. And then finally, if it's really, really close, our last option is a roll call vote, which means every individual delegate will cast a ballot. But this year we're doing it digitally, so even that should go really smoothly and quickly.
Okay, great. So in the worst case scenario, at least we're not sitting there and calling people one by one. It'll be a kind of a digital process.
Yes.
Okay, cool. And then for those who see something they want to add, or they have a last minute change, there actually is a way to introduce amendments the day of.
Right. So if you go online on May 19th and read the proposed platform, and you think something is missing, or you'd like to see some language change, you can submit an amendment. But you do need 200 signatures of delegates in the hall, and they need to have their state Senate district listed next to their signature.
Okay.
And you also need 5,000 copies.
5,000 copies of what?
You need 5,000 copies of the language that you're proposing to take up as an amendment to the platform.
Oh my God.
And that's because we want all the delegates to actually be able to read the language before they vote on it, which is really important.
Okay, that makes sense.
Yeah. And so the signatures and the paper copies have to be to the sergeant at arms table by noon. And then because those are amendments, we would take them up actually before we vote on the entire platform.
Okay, so we'll take them up, and then presumably there's some kind of debate on each amendment.
Right. So people who are for and against will each get 5 minutes to speak to or against the amendment, and then after the 10 minutes total is up, then we'll take a vote on whether or not to amend the platform, and then the regular proceeding for voting on the platform itself, amended or not, will go forward.
Okay, great. So each of the amendments, a little debate, and then once all the amendments are handled, then we come together and tackle the whole thing.
Yes.
As a
precisely.
room of 5,000 collaborators.
Yes.
Cool. So in addition to platform amendments, there's resolutions, right? Which is basically
Right.
a party statement.
Yeah,
of some
so
kind.
we have a charter and bylaws, and our platform, and those are the documents that really show who we are and how we run ourselves for a long period of time. The resolutions are they tend to be more timely issues, such as maybe a statement opposing the Muslim ban that President Trump said.
Right.
That's something that hopefully that's not a long-term thing. It's very timely. We would just say we're against it, and so that could be a potential resolution that we would pass. Those need 50 delegate signatures, and they also still need 5,000 printed copies.
People have to read them.
Right.
Okay.
And those should be at the Sergeant at Arms table by noon as well.
Okay, great. And then, so with the work of the day done, that all makes perfect sense, I think, and I'm actually really excited to get going, starting May 19th. But on June 3rd, and even the night before, on Friday, June 2nd, there's some fun. Tell us
There's a lot of fun.
Okay, there's a lot of fun. Tell us a little bit more about
Yeah.
a lot of fun.
So if possible, I would strongly encourage everyone to get there the night before, because there are pre-convention parties that statewide elected officials and constituent groups put together. And that's a really great opportunity to just socialize with other delegates, get to know each other, build some networking opportunities. It also might be a good time to speak to your elected officials face-to-face, especially the statewide elected officials. They tend to come and talk to people at those parties, so that's a great opportunity. And I don't want to brag, but I may or may not have watched a basketball game with Congressman Jim McGovern on my birthday one year, which was a lot of fun.
That's great. Is he doing
Yeah.
that for every birthday person in the conference?
I am not his scheduler. You'll have to ask him.
No, that sounds
But it's
really
a great
great.
opportunity.
So
It's
fun.
a lot of fun. And then we'll also have a breakfast before the convention, and that's at the convention hall. And then last but not least, after the proceedings are done on the day, then we have 5 breakout sessions. And that is an opportunity for delegates to be trained on skills that will make them better activists.
Make them better activists and presumably better organizers in their
Yeah.
communities that they're now going back to supercharged with
Right.
this great document
Yeah.
that very few people ultimately, I think, will know about, but it is our responsibility as delegates and participants to broadcast.
Yeah, I mean, hopefully after the convention is over, at least 5,000 more people will know about this document. So,
Right, and be
yeah.
ready for 2018, 2020, and beyond. Okay.
Absolutely.
Well, thank you, Elaine. I know I've learned a great deal, and
Good.
I'm looking forward to seeing all of you out there in Worcester.
Me too.
On June 3rd.